Good afternoon, late afternoon, early evening. Welcome to Main Street Sports. Ray Halbrook here, the owner of Livestream STL. Hope everybody's having a great evening. We are having a wonderful time here out at the Brick Bistro. We've got lots and lots of fun and chatty ladies that I love. I love that we've got chatty people on tonight. And we also have Stuart McMillan. Stuart, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Not elating, but I know I'm a guy. But that's okay.
It is what it is, man. So take it away. We're going to get started right here with our Main Street Sports Seniors 2020 tribute to the seniors here. And
what is this, part 4 now?
Part 4, it is.
Part 4. Wow. I can't believe I've done 4 shows. Have I been on for 4 shows already?
3.
3?
I believe
okay.
3. You
3,
did do
4.
the first one or 2.
Oh, well.
So.
Didn't get on number 1. Well, let's introduce our guest here tonight. I'm doing that, right?
Yep.
That's me. Okay.
Go ahead.
First on the list, Abby Rickerman from Festus. Abby, multi-sport athlete, softball, basketball, track, plays on the St. Louis Chaos, signed to play D1 softball for Southeast Missouri, a dream teamer, all-conference, all-district, all-metro, all-state player. What else? Anything else on there?
Nothing I can think of.
No, nothing? Well, I think we got a full list there. Abby, thanks for being on the program tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Angelita Johnson from St. Pius, basketball specialist, all-conference basketball, led the team in rebounds, blocked shots, and still figuring out what to do with academics, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, we'll talk about that later tonight, too. Thanks for being on the program. And Caitlin Huber from the Herculaneum Black Cats, multi-sport athlete, cross-country, volleyball, basketball, and track. And she's going to be running cross-country and track for Westminster University. She's majoring in English, a minor in Spanish, so you might have to give us some Spanish lessons during the program later. What do you think about that? You going to do that? Is that okay?
I could.
Okay, well, we might have to do that. She's really nervous, I could tell when I asked her that. So maybe we'll do that later. And thinking about being a screenwriter. Wow, we'll have to really talk about that later, too. I've got some script ideas, so after the show, maybe we can share some notes.
Sounds good to me.
We definitely have to do that.
Yeah, and your first show will be on Livestream STL.
That's right.
Right?
That's
We'll all
right.
be the actors and actresses in the show.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, so let's get started talking about the whole pandemic. Of course, we've all been living through it, and it's been just such an odd time. Every show that we've had, we've been talking to our seniors about these very questions. But I guess let's go around the table. I'll ask a few questions about what you've all missed or missed most about being the world being shut down until very recently. Of course, things are starting to open up. But what were the things that you missed? Caitlin, do you want to start with that?
Sure. Well, like everybody else, I miss school. I know we all are like, I can't wait till the last day of school, but it just came a little suddenly. I haven't got to see a lot of my friends, but I am very fortunate that in this pandemic I was able to sit down and do some things that I needed to do that I didn't have time for in school. One of which being I am now a published author. I got to publish my first book
How about that?
while being in quarantine. So
You published so. On my spare time, I like to play wiffle ball.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm playing wiffle ball. You're writing a book. Okay, so before we dive anywhere else, what is your book about?
So I've been working for a little over a year now with a woman who lives on Dunklin Drive in Herculaneum, Missouri, named Nadine Garland.
Okay.
And she is knowledgeable beyond belief about history and just different tidbits of information, especially that concerning Herculaneum. And for a while now, talking in the 70s, she was thinking about writing a story about her hometown, Herculaneum. And about a year ago, I had a teacher notify me saying that there was a woman who wanted to write a story, and do you want to write the story for her and help her write the rest of the story kind of thing. And I said, sure. So she interviewed me. I told her that I've worked at Leader Publications, that I have experience writing, and she said, sounds good to me. So we started writing, and we officially have our book written. It is called A History of Dunklin Drive, and it is published by Copco Publications. And it's basically just like a history about what used to happen on Dunklin Drive before everybody lived there. So originally it was a place where they'd make shots for the Civil War and stuff.
And the shot tower?
Yeah, the shot tower.
Absolutely.
And then now and then like later on in the story, it kind of delves into the people who live there, their kind of personal lives. Talks a lot about Daniel Dunklin, who was the governor of Herculaneum, that kind of thing. So
that's fascinating. That is fascinating. I'll have to get a copy of that book. I'm definitely a local history buff, and there's been I think the book about Fletcher that was written recently. That's by Dr. Huss. And there's been some other books, and I'm actually thinking about writing a book. So maybe I'll have to pick your brain about how you did it. And
you're speaking his language. I'm
oh
just
my
you,
gosh!
he's a big history buff,
oh my gosh! Yeah, we're gonna have to do
understand.
our own show just talking about that. That's fascinating. Okay, so you didn't miss much because you were writing a book. Let's see, Angelina, were you writing a novel while by the beach someplace? Definitely not by a beach, I guess, during the pandemic. So what did you miss most about when the world was shut down?
I just miss people living their life. I'm a person who loves people. Being around people, I just get lifted, the energy I feed off of. So I think just not even having to be around my friends, but just knowing people are around, or like going to the city, seeing people, I definitely miss that.
Yeah. I mean, it's so true. What about you? I didn't have anything else to say. It's so true.
Pretty much everything. You wouldn't think you would miss school, but really once you don't have to go anymore and it wasn't by choice, you're like, oh wow, this is so odd. So I really miss school, and I miss seeing my friends every day. Like, you go from seeing those people every day for the past 12, 13 years and then not seeing them at all for like a span of 2 months. It's just like, wow, I haven't seen you guys in years, and it's only been like a couple days. So I miss that. And of course, like, I've missed softball. I mean, we've had to take a break because of everything being shut down, and used to doing it every single weekend, and going from every weekend to 2 months off is like a lifetime for a softball player.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So the competitiveness in all of you, how have you been able to maintain that? Because, I've been watching Korean baseball. I think I've talked about that before a few times, have I? Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
I'll stop talking about it. But I really like Korean baseball. If you want to talk to me after the show, it's really fun.
We may have a show about that later.
We have to. It's a lot of fun. It really is. It really is good. So competitiveness, how have you been able to, keep that going? You've been playing, some say video games, some say other things. Or what's been keeping you going?
So about like 2-3 weeks ago, most of the gyms opened back up, and me and my brother go to the Barracks, which is right down the street in Crystal City, and that has helped tremendously because it's allowed me to stay in shape and to get stronger while I was off for a while. I've been watching a bunch of like replays they've been having on ESPN of like College World Series, or they've had actual like Baseball World Series games on, and honestly just watching those, or watching The Last Dance, Michael Jordan's special on ESPN. Watch that every Sunday, and I was absolutely amazed by all the things he did. I knew like he was great, but then like watching the films and watching some of the shots and stuff like that he makes, I was in awe. I looked at my dad. He's like, "Oh yeah, I told you he was the best." I was like, "I believe you, Dad. I believe you."
Yeah, it's. I don't think we knew what we had when he was playing.
Right.
I mean, and now we know more because of The Last Dance. Angelina, how about you? Competitiveness. How have you been able to keep that going?
We recently brought out the cornhole and have been playing some cornhole.
Yes, cornhole.
Just something to do.
Throw in the bags.
As well as, like she said, there's been softball on TV, and so we've been watching that, little rewinds and such. But we went on ESPN the other day. My boyfriend and I were watching it, and they had spitting contests to see how far. They had rock skipping. So if you're interested in rock skipping, they have that too.
Okay. Did you ever think you would see that on something like ESPN?
It's so unreal.
I mean, like Spike TV or whatever that's called now. Right. Maybe that would be something that they would have done. Wow. So did you enjoy watching that, or was that like...
We honestly sat and watched it for a second, and we kind of like sat back like, are we really watching this
right
now?
How are we watching it? It's kind of like one of those things you can't help but watch when you're looking like, we should really be watching this, but I guess we're going to. Caitlin, how about you?
So I've been fortunate enough that with my sport, you can kind of do it wherever you want. So I've been able to still go out and go running. It started out by myself for, the first 2 weeks. Everybody was like officially quarantined. Then I was able to meet up with my friend Jonathan Kaufman a few times and go running with him. Of course, he had to go like a much slower pace when I was running with him. But he's like, it's fine. I have an easy day today. I was like, cool. And then recently, my sister is going to be a freshman in high school. So recently, I've been going out with their high school team and going running. I also was able to get workouts from my track and cross country coach my senior year. He sent out different things that I could do around the house just to stay in shape. And then my boyfriend and I actually started getting into a competition with spike ball, which if you're not familiar with that, it's like volleyball.
Yeah, explain how that works. I know a little bit about it, and I've played it and did terrible at it, but if you could explain the rules real quickly, that'd be fun.
So usually you play in sand, but we've been playing in grass, and it has a net that sits on the ground that's made out of like PVC pipes. And then you have like a little rubber ball or like a blow-up ball that's about like this big. And what you do is you slap it into the net, and it has to bounce once off the net, and then you have 3 chances to juggle it and then slap back into the net and see if like it bounces on the ground, then it's your point, or if it like bounces off the side of the net and like shoots off somewhere, then it's your point kind of thing. So
yeah, it's definitely a game of trying to trick the other person you're playing with to kind of. Have you played it too?
Yes.
Have you? Yeah. Have you ever played that?
Only a couple times.
Okay, I've played it only a couple times, and I don't know if I'll do it again. It was one of the most frustrating games. I think I'd rather play jarts.
Yeah.
With real metal spikes than do that spike ball stuff. So you didn't have a competition like writing novels against other people, right?
I have not.
Okay,
I've joined the art competition that the leader's been putting on. But
oh, okay. They have been doing that. That's good. And you talked a little bit about getting workouts from college and things like that. So we could talk about how have you all been able to stay in shape. I think you've all kind of mentioned that a little bit. But Abby, starting with you, maybe talking with your coaches, whatever the case may be, how have you been able to kind of maintain that?
Actually, sometime soon they're going to be sending out a workout for us that we're going to do over the summer by ourselves, whether it be like in the gym or like things you can do at home, depending on the situation. And we started practicing softball again. Today was the first day, and we actually got to go out into the field and take ground balls and take fly balls and hit off a live pitcher, which is really helpful if you haven't done it for quite a while. So
months.
Months, yes. And then going to the barracks has really helped. Brandy is the head trainer down there, and he is absolutely great at making specialized workout plans for each athlete. So mine is more tailored to softball, whereas my brother, who plays basketball and football, is more geared towards that. So it'll help him with his vertical, and it'll help him with his arm strength, and mine will help with like my quick reflexes and stuff like that, and my arm strength. So in those aspects, I'm hoping to make sure I keep up and stay. Sorry.
You're fine. Go ahead.
At the next level, it's all the girls are a much bigger, much stronger, so you have to use everything, all your resources, to make sure you're caught up and try to compete with them if you want to have any playing time. So I'm really just trying to make sure I'm, doing everything I can.
Yeah, that's impressive. If a personal trainer had to set up a program for me, he'd probably have to just be able to stay alive. I think that would be my big thing. Yeah. I think somebody's knocking at the window over there.
I'm not going to lie, that's why I kind of stood. I was like, oh my God, it's Coach Rhodes.
That's Rod Rhodes at the door.
It is.
Isn't that something?
Coach Ron Rhodes, been around for a long time, of course.
Absolutely.
Angelina, how about you? Staying in shape.
Well, I have a 6-year-old nephew who's been staying with us because he was with us during whenever the lockdown went in place. And so a 6-year-old with a lot of energy obviously keeps you moving 24/7. So being with him, playing baseball outside, playing a little basketball, pretty much anything to keep him energized so that way he goes easy to bed at night is what we've been doing. But as well as Pius just recently opened up their weight room. Mm-hmm. So students have been able to get back in there, and along the way during quarantine, our school, they were sending out workouts that we could do at home, some of them involving toilet paper as little funny jokes, little workouts. So we've been keeping in shape in the Pius
explain
community.
that a little bit. What now?
They've been having little workouts, like you could move do a plank and then move the toilet paper over, then switch arms, move the other toilet paper over. So it's been little fun workouts during quarantine.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you're speaking my world, talking about kids running around. I've got a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old and a baby.
Goodness.
So there's my workout plan. That's at least my wife's anyway when I'm at work. So that's fascinating. It's amazing to hear all, even the similar things you all are going through around the same time. But did you all know each other throughout the season or see each other throughout the?
Yeah.
We played Herky. We didn't get to play Pius this
Not
year.
this
This
year,
was
yeah.
the first year we haven't played him in a long time. But
Yeah.
we played Caitlin, and we lost.
You lost.
We lost. We lost.
At least that was nice being honest,
Yeah.
It was
We lost
real.
too. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
We had a
Okay.
good season this year.
You guys were really talented. You guys had a really good year.
Yeah.
I
Thank
mean, we
you.
played you guys, and we're like, you guys all knew what you were doing. You worked really well together, and we were still trying to get used to everything changing. So I mean, like, you guys did really, really well.
I mean, last year you guys beat us, but we were definitely coming of age last year, and like this year we were able to gel really well. So
Most definitely, you guys were all upperclassmen, and you guys had played together for a long time. I feel like so. I mean, you guys it showed. You guys worked really well together.
most of us girls have been playing together since 5th grade.
Oh wow! So you
goodness.
guys were waiting for that shift.
Yeah.
Oh, see. Oh,
For
okay.
sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a long time.
Yes.
Obviously, what are you going to miss about all this?
Oh, goodness. I'm gonna miss.
Quarantine or high school?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I was just gonna go
question.
off and talk about basketball.
I know. I was like, oh wait.
I guess, well, let's do both. High school sports in general. What are you going to miss? What are you going to miss most? Caitlin, it seemed like you had something. Go for it.
I'm definitely gonna miss the girls that I was able to play with. Talking about everybody that I've ever come from volleyball to cross country to basketball to track, like all those people that I've met were pretty good kids, and it's gonna kind of stink going off to college and having new teams, but that's life, and I'll be able to meet new people and have new experiences. So hope that goes good.
Angelina?
I'll definitely be missing my teammates and coaches. As much as they rip into our butts and make us hate our life running, I'll miss, of
You know
course.
this is TV, right? They can hear you and see you when you're saying these things. No,
I
go
will
ahead.
miss
Go ahead.
our coaches, Coach Portel, Coach Abishan. They were amazing. They push us because they see potential. So I'll definitely miss them. My teammates, we all were a pack. We all grew together, and a lot of us, we didn't have many people come in each year because we're such a small little school. So we really got to build the bonds closer between both JV and varsity. So I'll definitely miss them, as well as the student section. I was one of our student section leaders for football and boys basketball games, along with Eli Boyer, who ran it with me for girls basketball games. So I'll definitely miss just the energy that's in the room whenever you're playing.
How many times did you lose your voice?
Oh, every
Countless.
night.
Countless. Okay. Every night.
All right.
That's good. Abby, how about you?
Most definitely my teammates and everybody who I've gotten to play with throughout my 4 years. Even whenever I was a freshman and those seniors, I've always missed them once they graduated. And now looking back, all the freshmen I got to play with this year and sophomores and juniors, I'm going to miss them as well. They've all impacted my life in some way or another, and I'm so grateful to have had them. I'm also going to miss my coaches because, they've made me who I am. I mean, Coach Rhodes is standing right outside right now. And
He's wandering around out there.
he's standing outside right now, and he hasn't. I had him coach freshman and
Great.
sophomore year, and he hasn't been back the past 2 years. But occasionally he'll pop in and he'll say hello. So things like that. Like you can't replace that. Both him and then Coach Ellis and Coach McFarland have been great as basketball coaches and have impacted my life and made me a better player overall. So I'm so thankful for them. I'm gonna miss everything like that and everything they did for me.
That's great. And before we take a break, just kind of the second part of that question, what are you going to miss about quarantine? I think that's kind of a fun side of it. We'll start with Abby with that.
Honestly, just a lot of the free time I've had. I mean, usually with everything that's going on in my life, I'm super, super busy, and I'm, finishing things at 11 o'clock or at midnight or stuff like that. And now I've had so much time just to get everything done. And me and my mom were talking about it the other day. We're like, whoa, we have everything taken care of. We have senior picture scheduled. We got, everything like that. Grad party taken care of. We've got decorations. We've gotten everything taken care of, and we're like, wow, this is new. Usually we're waiting till the last minute because we're those kind of people. But I mean, it is what it is.
All right. Well, we'll get answers. Oh, go ahead. Well, you got music up, so I didn't know where we're going. All right, Angelina, what do you think? What are you going to miss about quarantine?
Just the sleep, because I know as soon as quarantine's done,
Yes.
I'm going to be, as soon
Awesome.
as it's all done, I'm going to be out and about again, so I know sleep will be no longer in the schedule, so.
It's true. It's very true. Sleep.
Sleep, free time, the writing time, the able to just sit down and be able to just be creative. But I can always find some time to work that in. 2 a.m. Who
Yeah,
needs
sure.
sleep?
Who needs sleep anymore? Right. Quarantine's over. Sleep's overrated.
Right.
You're listening and watching Main Street Sports here on Livestream STL. Abby Rickerman, Angelina Johnson, Caitlin Huber, Stuart McMillan, Ray Halberg. We're all here. We'll be right back after this.
What you guys do for Jefferson County sports, it doesn't go unnoticed by the coaches in all sports.
Yeah,
all
I appreciate
sports.
that.
I have a lot of friends that are head, basketball coaches, and I've been, of course, around Jefferson County all my life and followed all kinds of sports even before I got into the coaching. So what you guys do to help promote it with the kids is unbelievable, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys to take your time and what you do is awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, well, we try, we work hard, and we think they deserve it. Kids deserve to be able to be seen, and if we can turn out kids in the community to better them, get them in college, and make them a better citizen, that's the key. And we are back. Thanks so much for watching Main Street Sports. We are here at the Brick Bistro. By the way, we wanted to give these guys some props here. They are opening up tomorrow, so they'll be back doing curbside service and carry-out service. So make sure you jump by and buy local here and get some goodies. I know they've got great pizza here. They've got pig wings Saturdays, and so check that out at the Brick Bistro. Don't forget also, because of our graduations that we've been doing this week, we also have had to move our coaches box. So that'll be right after this show, actually about 7 o'clock. So we should be done here by about 6:30, and we will turn that back around here at 7 o'clock. So make sure you tune back in. We'll have the coaches on here, and it's our Call It Like We See It segment. So that's going to be quite interesting. And also, before I forget, I want to get this out here. We're going to be covering a car show for Vendel Service and Bada Bing Classics. That'll be Saturday, May 30th from 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock. 11 trophy classes, 11 trophy classes, free food and drinks. Get a hold of Vinny over at Vendel Services LLC for more details. 636-638-2500. Vinny's a great guy, and it's really literally like 2 blocks right from behind where we're at right here. So check it out, Vinny over at Vendel Services and Bada Bing Classics, their car show on Saturday, May 30th. We're going to wrap that up here and go right back into our second segment here. So Stu, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, with Vinny, he's got like the only event in town.
Yeah, right.
I mean, think
Very
about
much
it.
so.
He's going to be the only guy with an event around here, so there might be quite a few people that come out to that. So hope you can make it out, or at least stop by for a little bit, check out some of the classic cars. It'd be good to kind of get out of the house a little bit, and of course, social distance.
Yeah.
Everybody can do
Yep.
that. We all do that.
They've got that worked out, apparently.
Yeah, cool. Abby Rickman's with us from Festus, Angelina Johnson from St. Pius, and Caitlin Huber from the Herculaneum Black Cats here tonight. And before the break, we were talking about what we're going to miss from quarantine. Some good answers: sleep, just free time. But we were shouting out some coaches' names. I guess we'll go ahead and roll into that.
Yeah, sure.
It'd be good to talk about some of your influencers within the school. But before we get to coaches, I do want to ask you this. Favorite high school teachers? Coaches don't count. Favorite high school teachers that helped out or were a big influencer And even if it goes beyond high school, it could be a middle school teacher that really influenced you at one time or whatever it may be. Let's go up and down the list. Who wants to take this first? Anybody got one right off the top of their head? I mean, it's a tough question. Okay, Caitlin.
So mine actually dwindles down to 2 teachers. One is Mr. Purvis. He was my art teacher, and he was a really good friend of mine. I got to really know him in my time of high school. He showed up my freshman year to replace the previous art teacher, and from then on we clicked. We both like classic music. We like to talk about comic books. We were just 2 big nerds in like one little spot. And he taught me a lot about art and like a lot of the techniques that I know now and are hopefully going to be able to use later on in life if I ever decide to illustrate my own books. And then my other teacher that I'd like to shout out is Mr. Kohler. He was my English teacher, my history teacher, my psychology teacher, and my counselor. So yeah, he did a lot of stuff for me. And he developed my love of writing, and he was always there to talk with me about anything I ever needed, and was a very, very good friend. So,
Angelina, how about you? Favorite high school teacher or just teacher in general from St. Pius?
I've also got 2. One goes all the way back to 5th grade. He was my 5th grade teacher, and actually is the reason why I play basketball. He one day looked at me and was like, "Hey, you're tall for a 5th grade. You should play basketball." So, but he's always just been a really caring guy. Always made learning fun. Actually, at one point, made me want to be a teacher until I transferred things over. But really all-around good guy. And then the other one is Coach Lawrence. He was the boys basketball coach at Pius. Just his work ethic, because he is in the service. So he taught me just dates, times, have things in. As well as how to have fun and how to make the game fun. He's just all-around funny. Anybody who meets him, you just want to be in his presence because he's such an awesome person. So
disciplined fun.
Yes.
Never thought those 2 things would go together, did you?
That's right.
Abby, how about you?
Okay, mine would be Coach Therrell. So he was the boys basketball coach, and he was also our weightlifting coach. So all through our high school, from sophomore year to senior year, I had his class 8th hour. And I actually had him when I was in kindergarten and through elementary school, so K through 2nd grade. He was my PE teacher. So, I mean, like, he has been with me and my brother throughout our entire high school careers. And he's not just like a coach and teacher. He really cares about us and is always, asking how we're doing. Like, every day I come in there and he'd ask me, how was your day? What's going on? And, if I'm having a bad day, he's like, you want to talk about it? Like, I'm here to listen for you. And, he always super supportive. I mean, whenever me and my brother do anything really good, he's the first one to tell us, like, hey, congrats, like, way to go. But he's also, like, super funny and caring. Like, he'll crack jokes at us all the time. And, he knows, like, we can take it, and then we dish it back and forth, and it's just really great. I'm so grateful to have someone like him, like, from kindergarten all the way through senior year. I'm really grateful for him.
I met you all just tonight, so I don't know your history and the backgrounds, and I haven't seen you all play as much as these other guys have, but Jeff was telling me that you all are leaders in where you serve and where you are. And just from hearing many of the things you all have been talking about tonight, it's really evident that that's what you are from where you are at. We getting to this status to where you are right now. It really takes a village, doesn't it? It takes those people that influenced you at a young age, and it takes people that, even in high school, that maybe were disciplining you at some point along the way. I definitely learned from the discipline in my school, I can tell you that. I learned what not to do, typically. But it is amazing to me to see just how accomplished every one of our seniors that we've had on all these shows are. Mm-hmm. And it's really just a testament of our local schools. There really isn't a bad school in the county. Right. There's great people in every school district, and then we can kind of give them some props. So let's go around the table and talk about some coaches. I know you talked about one already, but Abby, how about softball? Any coach shout-outs you want to give?
Oh, for sure. To Coach Montgomery, thank you for everything for the past 4 years. It's been great. You welcomed me as a freshman and always believed in me, and I'm so grateful that you gave me an opportunity to prove myself and give me a chance. Also to Coach Harrell. He started on the varsity my sophomore year and all the way up through senior year, and he was always there to ask me how my day was and to make sure that, like, I'm keeping my part and doing my part. He always kept me in check. He's like, hey, make sure you keep your head up, make sure you're talking, go talk to your pitcher, make sure you got their backs. And that really, really helped me become a better leader overall and just really built my leadership skills. So that way I knew more about leading everybody and not just worrying about myself, but making sure everybody else is okay and doing their part too, and to show that like I support them and I got their back.
Yeah. Angelina, you mentioned some coaches too. Got any others you can tell us about?
My first coach, I think he's my big inspiration for the reason why I play. He was one of those coaches that would take his hat off in a game, throw it down even when we were in 5th grade, stomp on it. Many of coaches will know him, Brian Wyman. He was just the way he taught us was to love the sport first and then to get better at it. He just taught me so much about basketball that I never even knew, and whenever I first started playing, I was scoring for the other team, but he still saw so much potential in me and kept at me and pushed me and would scream at me and yell at me, and for the longest time I was like, I hate this coach, Mom. I never want to go back. But then he grew on me, and he definitely is a big inspiration why I play still.
Wow, that's awesome. Caitlin, how about you?
I have a whole slew of coaches here.
Oh, yeah. We got the old clock on the wall says
Well,
let's
start. So my volleyball coaches, Coach Mita and Coach Johnson, I had them in middle school and then my first 2 years in high school. And they really taught me a lot about being there for a team, what it means to be on a team, and taught me to be on time. You always had to be early, so you made sure to put your shoes on, were able to put up the nets kind of thing. So because of them, I'm on time to just about everything. Basketball coaches, Coach Jim Vaughn and Coach Rob Metcalf. I've had since 5th grade. They're my first basketball coaches, and I cannot be thankful enough for them and what they've done and how they've developed my game. And then along came Coach Blair, and him and I have, I would say, a pretty strong relationship. We respect each other a lot, and he pushes me to be better every time I'm on the court or even when I'm off the court. We've had a lot of talks about leadership, what that means, and because of him, I am the player I am today. When it comes to running, I have Coach Cook was a very, I would say, pretty famous coach in Herky because he did a lot, and I was able to work with him, and he's the reason why I'm going to do steeplechase at Westminster, because without him, I never would have started doing hurdles. He suggested that I started doing 100 hurdles, and then my sophomore year, he convinced me to do 300-meter hurdles, even though I looked at his face and said, "You're crazy."
I was a 300-meter hurdle guy. Yes.
It's my favorite sport. Love it.
Yep.
And you know, we had some ups and downs. I mean, I've told him a couple of times where I was like, I can't stand you. I can't stand the way you coach me. And he was like, that's fine. He goes, is it making you better? I said, yes. And he's like, okay, keep running. But he was also my leadership teacher. He taught me a lot about what it actually means to be a leader, more so than I've ever received. I can't thank him enough for what he did. And then lastly, Coach Davis. He taught me a lot about what it means to be on a family. Cross country was something that I was so blessed to experience my senior year. Wish I would have done it earlier. But he was going to be my track coach this year. So sad that kind of got lost because of Corona. But I'm so grateful for the time that I've had with him, and I look forward to see what he's going to end up doing with my sister as she becomes one of his runners. So
That's awesome. Hey, he's a good friend of mine, Coach Davis.
Yes.
So a little earlier before the break, we were talking a little bit about if you've had seen each other in games and things, and kind of brought up the thought of favorite memories from games. Maybe not facing each other, maybe not the greatest memories there, I don't know. But just favorite memories from your high school career. It could be any sport that you played, whatever this is kind of the way it's been going. So Abby, we'll just start with you again.
Okay, two come to mind off the top of my head. The first one, my sophomore year, our softball team won districts, and it was like we'd won it my freshman year, but sophomore year I just felt like that team clicked really well together, and we were all like rooting for each other, and we were together, and we played Lutheran South, and they had beat us earlier in the season, so we really were like, okay guys, like we can do this, like we can come back, we can win. And we were just playing like incredible, and we put up runs, and we were all like doing our part. Everybody contributed, and it was just whenever the last pitch came, we got the last out, our right fielder caught it, and it was just instant, like I needed to hug somebody, like we're all screaming, we're all together, and it was just great. And then my second one, this past year, I scored my 1,000th point, and it was against Windsor. It was on our home court. It was a Saturday game because it had gotten rained out. So but my entire family was there, and I scored my point, and I was like, instantly embraced by all of my teammates. Like they were so happy for me. Like we were all crying on the floor. It was great. Coach Mack was like, are you guys ready? Like, are you guys good? Like, yeah, Coach, we're okay. We're okay. We're just emotional. So that happened. But actually, like, the favorite part of that game was we had another senior, Kay Todd. She hasn't played since 8th grade year. And she decided to come out this year and, make her last year and play basketball one more year. And it was right after halftime, and I called her. I said, hey, if Coach Matt calls this play, you go sit up on the baseline, just sit right by the three-point line. Just go stand out there. She's like, okay. So she goes out there. He calls it. She makes her first career three-pointer ever. And honestly, we all celebrated a lot more for that. We were all hopping up and down. We were insane. We didn't care that Windsor was going back down the floor with the ball. Like, we were in like, I remember, like, she's running. She has her hands up in the air and is screaming. I'm jumping up and down, hugging her, and, like, there goes one of the girls from Windsor. And I'm like, oh.
Go ahead and score. We don't care.
It's fine. It's fine. We just got 3 points. Like, we're okay. We were
great.
so excited. And stuff like that is just irreplaceable. Like, that is by far one of my favorite memories ever.
What a wonderful memory that is. Great. Thank you for sharing that. What a great story. Angelina, how about you? Any cool memories you can remember anywhere in high school?
I think just like the simple ones, like before games, we'd all get on the bus and we had the giant like jukebox, boombox looking thing, and we would blare music. And I remember just like dancing and having fun and just letting go before the game, letting all that nerves just shake them out and having fun. And every once in a while, seeing Portell just look back and just kind of give a little bob, like he wanted to do a little dance. I'll definitely miss those moments.
That's good. Caitlin, how about you? Any memories you can remember, or just fun ones, fond ones?
I have 2 of them, as I did teachers. So for running, my best memory was my first win running hurdles. It was my sophomore year, first time ever running 300-meter hurdles, and it was the Festus Early Bird meet, so it was the first meet ever in track season. And I won that heat, and then it ended up placing 3rd, I believe, like overall. And I remember crossing the finish line. Coach is outside.
I'm sorry.
As Coach Rhodes walks by again.
Oh, man. I actually remember going on the turn. So a 300-meter is a straightaway, a turn, and a straightaway. I remember going on the turn and passing the other 2 girls I needed to beat in that race. And then I remember coming off the straightaway. And immediately, as soon as I crossed that finish line, I turned for Coach Cook, and I just gave him the biggest hug, and I'm crying. And I mean, I'm also kind of about to pass out, too. But I'm crying,
that too.
and I'm so happy, and I go and find my family, and I hug my family, and he was so proud of me that day. And I was just, oh, man, that is the best memory I can ever think of. And, however, there is one that.
There is
however,
another.
there is
but
another.
wait, there's more. There's more.
That was kind of an individual memory. My favorite team memory would probably be at basketball when we were able to be conference champs my senior year. It was something that we'd never done before. My sophomore year, we were co-conference champs, but being conference champs all out is just something that's amazing. You can leave that legacy on Herculaneum High School, and now our teen year is going to be up in the gymnasium, and it's such a good feeling that I was able to do that with the great group of girls and the fabulous coaches that I had. So
that's fascinating. That's awesome. Funniest moments of your high school career? There's got to be a couple laying around somewhere in the old brain there. What do you think, Caitlin? Funniest moments that happened during your high school career?
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Last week we had a couple of them.
Oh, that's comical.
Oh,
Very
my
comical.
gosh. They were, and sometimes they were, I don't know. Anyway, so there's no rules here on this, so go for it.
Okay. One that I can think of is this started in volleyball and it continued on in basketball season. Pretty much followed me all through high school. It's fantastic.
Nickname of some sort, maybe?
It's called the Rain Dance.
The Rain Dance.
Yes, it started in cross country or in volleyball because we were not cross country. We didn't want to run. I hated running at the time. Where we didn't want to run a mile, and anytime there was like a little cloud in the sky, it could be completely blue, but there was like a little wisp of a cloud. They're like, Caitlin, do the rain dance. So I would start some like tribal dance thing that was just a mess, and they would all join in, and and we would always just pray for it to rain. And a couple times, I mean, it did work. It did start raining. So, but yeah, I would have us girls like in basketball one day when we were like, I don't know if we want to go to practice. Maybe they'll cancel if it rains too much. Caitlin, do the rain dance. So I'd send a video of me going,
Wait, is there? Wait a minute. Can we get the rain dance on? Was there a camera shot that we can get the rain dance on?
Well,
I don't know if we want to embarrass her too much.
You want to try it?
Oh, fantastic!
Yes.
Sure, let's do
throw
it.
Okay,
Let's
I
do
got
this
it
with
up.
it.
everybody has their own rain dance.
Let's
And
throw
there's
a little
music.
Music.
And there's music in there.
Okay. So it starts out. And you just go,
Oh,
okay.
This is great.
hey!
Wow. Okay.
There it is.
That was amazing.
There it is.
You need to teach all generations this.
Yes, yeah, for
Within
sure.
your school district and all. I think you need to do seminars
Yes.
at other school districts.
We were trying to
it's-
follow.
But
That was-
Yeah.
we started,
we're like-
but then we lost it.
You lost it right
it.
off the bat. Wow, that was awesome.
great.
So that was funny.
Yeah.
Angelina, how about you? Funniest moments? You got a rain dance laying around?
I do not have a rain dance.
okay, that's
I do
okay.
dance a lot in basketball, but
Okay.
I definitely don't have a rain dance. But my favorite moment is Portel's gonna kill me for saying this if he ever sees
That's
it.
okay.
But
He won't.
we were
That's all right.
playing
Go
in
for
the
it.
DeSoto.
We're sorry already.
We were playing in the DeSoto tournament and down in DeSoto, and whenever we were playing, I think it was AJ Agers went to go make a pass to one of our teammates, and it had tipped off one of our teammates' hand and smoked him in the side of the head, and he kind of had to stop for a minute, and that will forever be one of the funniest moments of basketball. And our team, I don't think he knows this, but our team would like rewind it back and forth on film and watch it over and over.
Yes. Rewind it again. So
Oh
funny.
my goodness.
That's the greatest. So did it feel like time stopped, like
Yeah.
right there? It was
Yeah.
like, what just happened?
It was like, is coach gonna make us run for this? Or are we okay?
Well, right now, I don't know. He
Oh,
might
not
call-
you,
He
though.
got
Not
reminded.
you.
I was saying, I don't
Not
have to
you.
play anymore. It's okay.
Well, he might call back the team. Call Misha. Get him back on the court. We need to get him running again. Okay. Abby, how about you? Funniest moments from the career?
Okay, so does it have to be like sports related? Because like this one is just what
It doesn't-
happens.
I guess it doesn't have to. There's no
Okay.
rules here.
No
Let's
rules.
go for it. Let's go for it.
Okay, so this is gonna make me sound really dumb, but like this is the definition of a blonde moment. Like this is what it is. Okay, so Coach Montgomery was my world history teacher my freshman year. So I'm in Coach Mont's class, and like it's during softball season, so like he kind of knows me, but he kind of doesn't know me. So he's talking, and like I'm not gonna lie, I kind of was zoned out a little bit. I really wasn't listening, and he's talking. He's emphasizing the word like Goodyear. He's like Goodyear, talking about stuff. He's like, what product does Goodyear make? And he goes, Goodyear. And so like I'm positive. I'm like raising my hand. I'm like, oh me. He's like, okay, I will make the calendar. Because like
Oh,
it's a good year, yeah.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, calendar. he sits and looks at me. He's like,
What?
oh yeah. He sits and looks at me. He's like, it's a tire company. I was like,
That's-
oh
they
yeah,
make-
that's what
that's
I
true.
meant.
Also,
I mean,
That's true also.
maybe they sell calendars there, but like I don't know. From that day on, I always felt really dumb. Like Coach Mont probably thinks I'm like a little slower. And it was my freshman year. I was like, oh man, like he's my coach. He's probably gonna. I don't know. But that's just I said in front of my whole class, and they were all freshmen. So I mean, like these kids like still like make fun of me to this day. I'm like, okay, sorry guys, I had that was my blonde moment for sure. I just
funniest
wasn't
moments.
good.
So much fun. Hey, speaking of fun, we're having fun on Main Street Sports tonight. Stuart McMillan alongside. We'll be right back on Livestream STL. Don't go anywhere.
And I'll say real quick, I really admire what you guys do with this. I think everybody who's ever tuned into one of these, whether it's a Legion game, whether it's a high school baseball game, with basketball, football, whatever it is, I've heard nothing but tremendous feedback about Livestream STL and what you guys do and the quality of production, things like that. I would really encourage anybody who's involved in athletics throughout the county, really anywhere in the metro area, anybody who's interested in sponsoring activities to get on board and get involved with this. I think it's added a ton to what we do here. It's added a ton to the program. You guys are a class act. You're committed to doing things the right way, and we really appreciate that.
And we are back here. Thanks so much for watching Main Street Sports. Again, don't forget, we have going on, we're going to be covering the Vindel Services and Bada Bing Classics Car Show, Saturday, May 30th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 11 trophy classes, free food and drinks. Give Vinny at Vindel Services a call at 636-638-2500. The great folks over at Vinny Vindel Services and Bada Bing Classics. We wanted to also let you guys know about our brand new Roku channel. If you're interested in getting it, this is really a really cool thing that we've put together here. Very easy to get a hold of. You just need to log into videos.tkdssports.com, and you will be brought over to the TKDS Sports Network, which you will be able to get a chance to sign up for. And we're going to be running all of our games, all of our content, all of our shows, all of this into the Roku channel. Like right now, we are live on the Roku channel with Main Street Sports. So if you had that right now, you'd be able to watch it on your TV. And I know Stuart, give me a little blip on, you just got it, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what you like and don't like about it, maybe. I don't know.
Don't like about it? What is it? I can't do
well,
that.
You know, I got to be I want to be over biased, you know. So.
The Roku channel is great, especially there's the live stream aspect of it on the browser. Is that for everybody, by the way?
It is for everybody.
Okay, because I didn't know if that was just special for me.
No, you can get it.
Okay.
You get it, well, it is special for you.
Thank you. I thought it was.
But it's $4.99 a month. It's $4.99 a month. And
yeah.
Very easy to get a hold of. So, and to let you know also, we are out on all of these outlets now: Facebook, YouTube,
Twitch.
Twitter, Twitch,
Oh, wow.
Periscope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hey, we're on the Twitch channel, so check it out.
I know, because I have all these apps,
Yep.
I get notifications from all of them at the same time when we do a live broadcast, so my phone explodes.
There it is.
So I know when something's happening.
There it
Live
is.
stream STL.
There it is. We start our third segment. Take it away there, Stuart.
All right, thanks, Ray. So, wanted to talk to you individually a little bit about what the future holds. We're looking into the crystal ball a little bit, I guess, here in our next segment. It's nothing bad. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, does he know my 401k amount or something?"
Where's the palm reader at?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Abby, we'll start with you. Talking about your position that you're going to be, you're projected to play at SEMO. So what are you thinking? What's the position?
I was recruited just as an infielder, mostly middle infield. They're looking for someone, with the graduating class going out, a lot of their infielders are graduating, like their shortstop and their second base. So I'm assuming or hoping to play either short or second, but honestly, I will play anywhere Coach Redburn wants me to play as long as I would get some sort of playing time. I don't care where it is, but hopefully shortstop or second base is where I've played my whole life, and I feel really, really comfortable in those positions.
You have played softball a long time. Any heroes you can tell us about?
I can think of two. When I was a lot younger, when we were first starting, get the idea of recruiting and playing college ball, we went and watched a Mizzou game, and their shortstop was number 16, which is my number, and her name was Corinne Genovese. And she made a couple incredible plays that game, and instantly I was kind of thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's blonde, she's blue eyes, she's number 16. Oh my god, it looks like me. That could be me.
It's destiny.
So, I mean, from that moment, I was like, okay, that's someone I can look up to. And she was a junior, I think, at that point. So, I had a whole entire year to, watch what she does and, how she plays as a position. And I'm like, okay. And then as I got older, one of the girls from the Chaos, her name is Katie Reed, and she was a shortstop at Kentucky. And she was on ESPN SportsCenter highlight reels for the plays she made and just her work ethic. And, it made me think, that could be me someday because she's, from the St. Louis area. She played on the Chaos team, which I play for, and, all her hard work and dedication is paid off tremendously. And I'm like, if my work ethic stays like that, it could potentially pay off in the long run. So I really try to model how I play after her, and I've watched her play several different times on the big stage, and I'm just really hoping one day I can do the same thing she does. And it was just really inspirational to me.
So do you know or have played with any of the players on the roster at SEMO right now?
Yeah, one of them, Patience Lawson-Holman, or Holman-Lawson, it's hyphenated. But
that's okay.
Yeah, Patience, she was on my team for the past 4 or 5 years for travel ball, so I know her pretty well. She's a pitcher, and she's one of the funniest people I've ever met. She's so blunt and just, says whatever comes to her mind. I love her to death.
Sounds like someone I know.
Oh.
Hey.
Me. Not you. Okay. Yeah, it's just her. No, it's totally me. It's totally me. Go ahead.
Yes. I've played against Carly Sanders. I've never got the chance to play with her, but I've played against her. I know she's a great ball player. Other girls I haven't gotten the chance to play with, though. But some of the girls who are in the incoming freshman class with me, I'm actually on the same team as Kelby Robinson. We're on the same team now. And then I've met my roommate and played against her a couple times. So
this next question, I know nothing about. It was prompted to me, but I'll ask you.
Okay.
What is the significance of the phrase "spikes up"? We were talking about that before the show. Do you have any idea? That was a Jeff question, by the way.
Okay. The only thing that comes to mind, my freshman year, we were in the district championship against Windsor, and there was a collision at second base. So I'm at short, so I'm covering the third down, and some girl had stolen, and she ran into me. The throw was a little off. She was out, but I had like a giant scrape on my arm and on my leg, my upper leg, and like I'm kind of freaking out a little bit because I'm just a freshman. I'm like, okay, but I mean, I played there so many times, like that's nothing new. Like it's happened before. I've gotten run into. I've gotten like cut up before with the cleats, and but when we got back over to the dugout, like Coach Mon is fuming and Coach Rell is fuming, and I'm like, what is happening? And some of the girls who I once like the play happens, I kind of tune everything out. Like I don't hear anything. I'm just focusing on the ball and making sure I'm there. And they're like, their coach was yelling, spikes up, spikes up, spikes up. And I'm like,
whoa.
Well, that's what they said. And I was like, oh. So I'm guessing that's what, motioning to.
Playing
that,
dirty then.
Well,
huh?
they had said that, the girl had tried to, spike. Because getting spiked up on your upper quad is really unusual. Usually it's down by your shin or by your ankle,
right.
Which would make sense. But at that point, I was kind of like, well, it is what it is. And my dad was even fuming, and he usually doesn't get worked up over things like that, and he was mad. And I was like, oh, no, now we did it. We got Mike mad. Now we did it. So, I mean, honestly, from that, though, I learned, you have to deal with adversity and anything that goes your way. I couldn't let that dwell the rest of the game. It happened in the first inning, and that was an important game for us, so I couldn't let it affect how I played the rest of the game. So, I kept my head up. I didn't retort back or make any comments or anything. You play your game, and you do what you do. You can't control those things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that really had helped me for any, future events, I guess. So, I mean.
I had slid into third base once. It was a really hard, slide. It was a perfect slide. The third baseman's knee, though, went it was perfect. It was a hard slide. I didn't go spikes up on the guy. But the guy did put his knee right into my face as I was sliding in. And I thought I broke my nose. It hurt so bad. It hurt so bad.
Oh, yeah.
But I was safe.
Okay,
so
well,
that's the good part.
Oh, it's on both ends too, because I mean,
Got to play. You got it done, right?
I'm a base stealer, so I mean, I've gotten run into, I've gotten stepped on, or vice versa. I'm trying to get the throw, and the throw's offline. I've collided with people. They've run into me. I've gotten a bunch of bruises, and I'm like, it's just part of the game. I mean, it's gonna happen, and if you're gonna be at the shortstop position, you got to be ready for that, and you have to be ready to deal with whatever comes after it. So,
Angelina Johnson from St. Pius. So, have you chosen a university?
University of Mary in North Dakota.
Okay, because I misread something earlier to say that you hadn't done something, you hadn't picked where you were going to go. So I misread that earlier. So forgive me for that. So why did you choose the University of Mary in North Dakota?
Well, they're a small Catholic college, and we're a very faith-based family. So I definitely wanted to find somewhere where I could continue and have a church on campus type of thing. As well as they have an all-year-round program, which I just got accepted into, so now I'm officially going there. And basically, I'll graduate in 2.3 years.
So it's accelerated
That's great.
Yeah,
learning.
that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just wanted to start my career, get it rolling, and that was the best option for me.
Okay. Any long-term goals in your career?
My goal is to hopefully open up my own photography studio and maybe travel the world with it, do something to not only I don't want to take pictures of nature or models or things like that. I want to take pictures of poverty and stuff like that to get people's message out there. So my goal is to tell people's story with my pictures.
Okay, so kind of like a photojournalist.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. I like that idea.
Cool.
I'm a big journalist person. I love that. So, do you still have a dog with two names? And what? And why does it have two names?
So yes, my dog, he will answer to both Brad and Hunter.
Brad.
Brad.
Who names a dog Brad, right?
Angelina does. She names her dog Brad, or at least half the time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
So
Brad.
That's great.
His real name is Hunter, but one night I had a party with all my friends over, and one of my friends, John, was trying to call the dog over and couldn't think of the name. And Brad, I guess, came to his head, and so he said Brad, and I was like, who are you talking to? There's nobody named Brad here. And he was like, the dog, and I was like, that's not my dog's name. So then it just became a joke with me and my friends, and every time they come over now, they call him Brad, so now he just answers to both. So
That's awesome.
I don't. That must be a very smart dog. I mean, I try. You say everything to the dogs I've ever had, and they wouldn't even budge.
Yeah.
Hey, you get over. It's like I try to. Hey, dog. Nothing. Even their name, nothing worked ever. So, I wanted to ask you this. Jeff gave me this question, so I always have to prompt that. This is a Jeff question. So did you get in trouble for taking a selfie on the podium during graduation on the field?
No, actually afterwards, people came up to me and they were like, if you hadn't done that, I would be disappointed in you because it just like I said, I run the student section. I'm always out there in front of everybody. So they were like, if you hadn't danced across the stage or did something crazy, I would be disappointed in you. So
I got to tell you real quick. My wife says, "Did you see the gal that took the selfie on the stage?" I go, absolutely. And she goes, I said, I know her. We covered her. That's Angelina Johnson. She's, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Love it.
I'm impressed.
Yes, I saw it on your Instagram. And I was like, that's so awesome. Like that's so cool.
Thank you.
I'm following your Instagram now after this.
Awesome. Caitlin, let's talk a little about you. What's the significance from wearing your number 44? And I know you all share a number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not all of you, though, right?
I'm sorry. No, I'm number 12.
Well, that's okay.
Sorry.
The odd girl out. That's all right.
Sorry. I didn't get the memo. So.
The Hank Aaron memo?
Right, I didn't get the memo.
So 44, why is it important?
So my family has always been big into racing, like stock car racing, like the local track down here, I-55, like what they do. And it goes back to actually my grandparents on my dad's side. They used to race. And my dad grew up in that, and so when he was a senior in high school, he bought his first race car, and he would go race, and he was number 4 because that was his favorite number. But when he had number 4, he ended up having a car that there was another car in his race that had the number 4, and you couldn't have duplicate numbers back then. So he made it 44, and then he put an H on his number as well because his last name is Huber. And that was also like something that you usually don't do. You don't put letters on with your number on your car. So I always grew up with race cars. I have pictures of being held by NASCAR drivers when I was a baby. Like,
whoa.
Yes. And I ended up getting my first car when I was in 3rd grade. It was a little
Third grade?
Yes, 3rd grade.
I didn't
was
get
9
my first
years
car
old.
until I was 17.
I know, right? Yeah.
Did you pass the license test okay?
Didn't have to take one.
Whoa.
You don't need a license to drive a race
That's
car.
some Jeff Como.
That's true.
Jefferson County, old school.
right.
I like it.
Yes.
But
3rd grade, okay.
Yes, if you're familiar with how the outlaw carts look with like the sprint car, like with the wing and then like the wing on front, that's what it looked like. And then it had a motor on it that was like a souped up lawnmower motor, but it went about 60, 65 around the track.
I've seen those, and I've seen them race. It is
Yes.
impressive. So you did that? You
I
raced
did that from
Wow.
3rd grade all the way till about 6th grade. Tried to do it in 7th grade, but I got too involved with basketball, volleyball at the time. So ended up having to stop. Plus, I kind of grew out of my car. It's a really small fit. I'm a really tall girl. But I was 44 junior because my dad was 44. So when it came time to start picking numbers for basketball or start picking numbers for volleyball or stuff, I always try to get 44. I got 44 for basketball, so that's what it's been. My sister, when she raced, she took over the car after I drove it. She was 44 the 3rd, and now her number for basketball is 44. Like, it's just a Huber thing, I guess.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's
So
awesome.
it's a family of numbers. Now, Angelina, was there any 44 meanings there? Was that just a number you found and said,
no.
hey, I like it?
No, definitely meaning.
Okay.
My dad's lucky number was 44, and he ended up passing away when I was little.
Oh, I'm sorry
He
about
ended
that.
up passing away on 0404.
Wow.
So it was like something just like, what are the odds his lucky number's 44, passed away on 0404. So definitely carried that with me and all throughout high school. And so, yeah, that's always something
That
lucky.
is a
So
sweet
that's awesome.
memento.
That's something lucky to you,
yeah.
too. So that's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And your number, does it have a significance also?
Honestly, when I was younger, it started out with 22 because that was my dad's number. Like, his number was 23 throughout everything, and from there on out, like, that's kind of what I wanted. But once we got to like middle school and high school, like, the jersey sizes were like, like
Yeah.
they were numbered.
Yeah.
So I was like, number 12 was like an extra large, and I was a very, very skinny girl, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna fit in the 12. So then I ended up going to like number 3, and then I got to high school, and finally I was like, okay, we got to pick softball numbers, and 16 wasn't available. So then I looked at 12, and I'm like, it has 2 in it. It has my 1 from 16. I put them together. I was like, okay.
There you go.
And from there on out, like throughout the rest of high school, like basketball, I was number 12, and that was my number. And now, actually, my brother, who's a sophomore, he switched to number 12 for basketball. So now we have the same
that's
number.
so cute.
I know. He told me, he came home. He's like, look what number I got, and I was like, what's my number?
Shout out to dads though. They all like.
I know.
Yeah.
Dad, thanks for the
Yeah.
info.
Talk about influencers in our lives, our dads.
Yeah.
That's,
For
that's
sure.
such a great way
Most
to,
definitely.
and what a great way to end our program too. Wow, we've had such a fun time discussing your all's lives and what you've done in your careers. It's been a joy. Thank you all for being here tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And where do we
thank you.
find the book? And what's it called again?
It's called The History of Dunklin Drive. It is for sale for $5. Just email me, CaitlinH02@gmail.com. It's spelled CaitlinHuber02. Woo!
Hit her up.
Right, there you go. Awesome.
And no rain dance included with that. No rain dance. Just $5. That's all that's required. All right. Well, thank you all again for being here tonight. Abby Rickman from Festus, Angelina Johnson from St. Pius, and Caitlin Huber from Herculaneum. I'm Stuart McMillan. Send it over to Ray Holbrook.
My final thoughts, and we did this last week, and I want to make sure that you guys get this from our hearts here, because I've covered all three of you. Let us know, hey, you're watching, and we will definitely give you a shout out. And you guys are family with us now, so we appreciate.
Thank you so much.
Abby Rickerman. I'll give you all three. You got. I've got one little tidbit. Abby Rickerman, my very, very first girls softball game this past fall. First person there, last person out. Great leadership. What is she doing? The very first thing. She's whacking the ball up against the fence all day long. And I'm like, that girl is going to put a hole in that fence. So great leadership. Angelina Johnson, just bright, smiling, shiny face all the time. So awesome. That I love that part. And I remember the first time you and I actually met, I was actually trying to get a hold of Coach, and I didn't even know who he was, and she was so great. She's like, oh, he's right over here. Let me take you over, blah, 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 and everything. I was just like, great leadership. Caitlin Huber is probably one of our top interviewers, period. We have her on, we've had her on a couple of times, and, you just, you carry yourself so well. All three of you ladies carry yourself so well, and we appreciate that. So,
Thank you.
So we send you off here with the live stream STL send off, and we appreciate you guys being on. And we're going to say so long right now. Don't forget, tonight we will be right back here in about less than 30 minutes for the Coach's Box. 7 o'clock here, Call It Like We See It. For our Call It Like We See It segment, Ray Halbrook and all of us live stream STL, we are saying so long. Have a great evening. We'll see you in about less than 30 minutes.